Hi, my name is Christina Tabarrow. I am the Director of Development here at Huntsville Madison County Public Library. Thanks so much for joining me for Ask a Librarian. Even though I'm not technically a librarian here at HMCPL, I am really happy to get to support library staff in what I do as Director of Development. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself and what I do here, and then answer a few questions. As Director of Development, I get to be part of the intentional and strategic thinking about how to support the library. So we look at public and private funding and how we can keep those channels strong and funding coming in for our library system so that we can continue to provide our patrons throughout Madison County with the best resources possible. So sometimes that looks like grant writing for me, sometimes that looks like event planning, just different appeals throughout the year for fundraising, talking with our local government officials and advocating on behalf of the library. Those are the kinds of things I get to do. So another piece of my job is also working with the Huntsville Library Foundation. And the foundation is the 501c3 nonprofit arm, and that's how donations come to the library through them. And we also have a 27-member volunteer board that makes up the foundation, so I get to do a lot of work with them. So that's pretty much it. But what does it mean to be a Director of Development? I mean, I've mentioned it a little bit. It really means that I get to work with our leadership here at the library and think about how can we support this place financially and otherwise. How can we continue to spread the word about the great work that goes on here and all the great resources? How do we support it financially? So a huge portion of our funding does come through public funding, either through local, meaning city or county officials or channels. And so we try to have really good relationships with those people. So we talk to them a lot about what's going on here, why they should continue to support it for their constituents. We also do a lot of work with private donations. So how do we continue to fundraise from private sources, either through grant opportunities or individual or corporate donors? So that's a lot of what I get to do. What does the Huntsville Library Foundation do for HMCPL? So the foundation gets to do a lot of that same work, just as a group, as a board. Their mission is to raise funds and advocate for the library. That is all they do, just for HMCPL. And so sometimes that looks like putting on events where we might bring in an author and we raise some money from that. Sometimes it is just spreading by word of mouth all the great things that are going on here and being, in general, ambassadors for this place. So that's what they do, and they do that 12 months out of the year. We have a couple of times a year that are busier than others. Typically the fall, when we have our annual gala, Vive, Livre, but they are busy throughout the year helping to raise money and advocate for the library. Tell us more about Vive, Livre. How much money did the foundation raise in this year's virtual Vive campaign? So Vive Livre is the foundation's largest fundraiser every year. It's typically held in the fall. It is an in-person event where we have a seated dinner, a cocktail party beforehand, and then a keynote address from a best-selling author. And we've had some really wonderful authors from the past years. This year was 34 years, so as long as the foundation has been in existence, they have held a Vive la Livre where they celebrate all things book and all things library. So as with everything in 2020, this year's Vive looked a lot different, not just a little, but a lot. We decided not to do an in-person event. Those dinners can attract up to 450, 500 people, and clearly that was just not the right choice for 2020. So we did an online and mail-only campaign where we asked our supporters to continue supporting the great work of the library, despite the fact that we couldn't get together and celebrate in person. And, you know, our longtime supporters just came out and just really were just so very generous this year. That event raised over $125,000. It's the most we've ever profited off of Vive in recent memory. So we are so thankful to everyone who gave to that, who supported it, without question. You know, we basically told them, no, we're sorry, we're not really offering you a dinner or a speaker, but would you still support us? And you know, you all were just absolutely wonderful to do that. So that means so much to the foundation and to the library. What programs or resources does the foundation help support? The foundation, for the last several years, has fully funded the digital media zone. That's typically what they use the bulk of their Vive profits. Those go toward the digital media zone. And that is our platform for downloading ebooks and audiobooks. And so it's wildly popular. And you can imagine with everything that has gone on this year, usage has increased dramatically for DMZ. So Foundation loves to support that cause. Profits, as I mentioned, were so terrific this year, and some other wonderful donations from really generous individuals in the community allowed the foundation to also fully fund a new digital platform called Hoopla. And if you haven't checked that out, go take a look at it. It's a lot like DMZ in the sense that you can download ebooks or audiobooks, but also movies, TV shows, music. And the really wonderful thing about Hoopla is there's no wait list. So, 10 of us can check out the same book all at the same time. So it's really wonderful. That one's been really popular as well. And so the foundation was really happy to fully fund that for an entire year. So for the next 12 months. Foundation also gives money to every branch for print materials because we know that we have to be able to offer a variety of formats for users. Not everybody has reliable internet access, so we want to be able to offer traditional print materials as well. The foundation typically also funds grants to individual departments or branches. They'll come to us through a grant cycle and fill out an application with sort of an out-of-the-box idea about something they want to do, often for a programming event or something like that, really creative things. There have been science programs where they've wanted to do really cool projects with microscopes and dissecting little owl pellets with kiddos, and just neat projects. There have been book clubs that they've wanted to purchase book clubs for. Our senior services applied for a grant one year for a really special story time with seniors who have memory loss. So the foundation absolutely loves fulfilling those grant requests as well. And then just any other specific program needs that come up. If there are things that just aren't in the budget for a given year, special needs that pop up, Foundation always is willing to consider those and try to fulfill those needs if possible. For instance, this year, there was a need for a new transit van for the library system. This is the van that delivers materials from branch to branch for various holds, that kind of thing. And the foundation was able to fully fund purchasing a new transit van. So just lots of great opportunities there for supporting the library. Who is your favorite author the foundation has hosted for Vive? I had to really think about this because we've had some really great authors. I loved Ann Patchett. She was probably my first. That was probably the first year I ever attended Vive, and so that was really fun. She was a terrific speaker. In recent years, though, I really loved Amor Towles. He was so charming, and he was just so wonderful with each person at the event. He took so much time as people came to get their books signed, personalized the books, and he was really just a delight. And his presentation was fabulous too about Gentleman in Moscow. So he was wonderful. And I really, really enjoyed that one. Any other author favorites that have visited? Yes, probably my favorite is Greg Iles. So occasionally we have other author events. In the past we've called them community conversations, but we invite other authors who are perhaps out on book tour to come and speak to us. Those are usually lower ticket prices, so you can come. Typically a hardback book will come as part of your admission price. And Greg Iles has been a couple of times now, maybe 3 actually, and he is always a delight. I would classify his work as sort of thriller, not really mystery, I guess thriller, but which is not really the kind of thing I love to read, but his books are terrific. but he's an even better speaker. He is so entertaining, a musician by training. Matter of fact, I think he was a musician before he ever wrote a book, and so he's a really talented guitar player and really great singer. And the last time he was here, he brought his guitar with him, and so that was really fun. He was so entertaining. He's always hilarious, engaging, and personable, and so he's a favorite for sure. But we've had so many others who come and who are always just so gracious and lovely to, I guess they're fans, if you will. And it's just always so much fun to meet those people and be a little bit, starry-eyed over their celebrity. But hopefully we will return to some wonderful author visits in the not-too-distant future. So that's all I have for today's Ask a Librarian. Thanks so much for joining me. Be sure to go and like our channel. And if you have any more information about the Library Foundation, check out Huntsville Library Foundation.org.